Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another info boost, and I'm going to go to motivation. Let's see. Focus is the next one I'm going to go to. I'm
Yeah.
just going to go down the list. So I've got energy, focus, and motivation. So Spark Scan Info Boost. I'm going to click on that guy. And you'll notice that it didn't ask me to make a new Spark because the Spark is saved for 24 hours. So it's taking exactly that same Spark, but it's giving me now the information. And I'm going to change this to 5 days. And then we're going to go look at that list of items.
So this is a good reason why you weren't specific when you were speaking, is
That's
because
right.
now we're adding the second info boost to that
That's
Spark
right.
scan.
Okay. So we're still down to, in this case, we're down to 88% with the top 10. And just to be consistent with what I was saying, I'm going to unclick anything below 90%.
Okay.
Now, and that's purely a preference on my part. Some people like to add more and some like to add less. I tend to be on the less side, but there's nothing wrong with the more side. I would say experiment with it. If you turn on an info boost and start to get what you think is a negative impact, it may be that you just got too much in the circuit. So just go in and, start with fewer things. Okay,
I,
let's click on this top one just for fun.
I know that you've addressed the topic of overload in past conversations, and
Yeah,
so
and it can happen. Uh,
yeah.
I don't think that it's too common, but be aware that it can. Okay, so this has more to do with circulation, I would think. Okay, you got
Okay,
some things down there, sexual wellness, but that could relate to cardiovascular as well.
sure.
Okay, and red oak, essential oil. Again, I do this because it's interesting to see. I'm not looking to improve any symptoms, but if I see commonality here, I might think, oh, okay, well maybe I do need to focus on some nutrients for my heart or something like that. Okay, so there's my focus info boost. I'm going to turn that guy live, and it's running for 5 days too. And
Okay.
then I'm going to add a third info boost. I'm going to go into motivation in this
Motivation.
case.
Right.
And there it is. I'm going to run that Spark Scan info
Spark.
boost again.
On this screen, Dr. Cook, I noticed under boost ingredients, you've got the default boost ingredients, which means these will be the ones specifically linked to motivation. Um, but then there's the full library too, if you want to.
Right. Yeah. And that's actually a good point, George. Let's do this. Let me go in first and I'm going to uncheck the ones below 90%.
Right.
But let's look. Okay, look, here's this 99% one. That's at the top of the list here as well. Red bark, that was in the other one as well.
You've
That's
seen
at the
that,
top of
right?
the list. This is different. This was in one of the other ones. So when I put it in twice, what effect does it have? Does it have twice the effect? No, it just goes in once, but it just happens to be included in both lists.
Okay.
So there we go. So I'm down to just below EMF, Guducci. I guess that's the last one. And let's go. Oh, wait a minute. Before we activate this, we're going to go into this last column, additional boost ingredients. And if I click on that one, here's a tab called all ingredients. So if I click on all ingredients, you can look and see of all of my preferences that these two are the very top in my priority. And you can look down and we have cobalt, boron. There's heart 7. That was included.
This is the full library now, the full
This is
library
the
of
full library. So it's given me a list of everything. And I could look at that list and just see, is there anything else in there that I might want to add? Well, I might want to add moringa because it's 98%. And let's add boron and cobalt. And let's look at those. So cobalt, anti-inflammatory, cardiac health. Okay, there's some commonalities.
and some
We're good.
similarities, right?
Yeah, yeah, and if I see those similarities, I think, okay, it might make some sense. Here's one that's got a lot of indications, but it includes those things. Let's see if it's got any cardiovascular. It doesn't, but it's
I
got
see
antibiotics.
insomnia. I see sleep-related things as well. That's
Yeah,
good.
memory, mental clarity. Okay, so I've added 2 more things or 3 more things. And now I'm going to activate this info boost. And there we go. We've got
So
3
you've
info
got
boosts
3.
running. Now, in addition, I always will set a CERT info boost. And so I'm going to come over here to my active CERT info boosts, and I'm going to add one. And it takes the same spark, runs the calculation based on that voice input. And this is what I see. So we've got zone 2, 9, and 10. Repetitive thinking is zone 2, suppressed emotional expression is 9, unworthy or undeserving is 10. Now, does it make me feel bad when those zones come up? The answer is no. There's no moral value to this perception index, is what it's called. It's
Right.
just that's where the energy deficiency is showing up in my voice. And so this gives me ingredients that I can pick that will resolve that deficiency. So let's go in, and I'm just going to click. And as I click these guys on, you can see that it brings that across. I'm going to take the ones that take me down to just below 80%, above 80%.
It's
Then let's
interesting
go back.
because I noticed, Dr. Cook, that peppermint oil was one that you clicked there. That was also one that ranked in 80% in your other scan. So it's interesting how we're seeing even similarities with this that comes along.
Well, and you bring up a good point, George, because let's look at jade as an example down here.
Uh-huh.
Jade, as it relates to zone 2, scored 77%. But as it relates to my spark, my overall scan result, it's 92%.
Oh, okay.
So that's what that second number means. That's my overall response. So you might look at these and you'd think, okay, well, that's 82, but it's 89, that's 81. This in the box, that's because we filtered it through the energy in voice in zone 2, and that's what the ranking comes up as. So let's go on down here, and you'll notice that the things I've selected in this top zone, zone 2, has affected 9 and 10 as well. And here's the
But
number
not
of
to the extent of zone 2.
I
Zone
selected.
2 by far took the largest impact there.
Yeah. And let's go to the next one. And here are my 80s, and I'm going to take, well, just one. Let me just take that one.
Okay.
And then let me go. Now, again, it would not be inappropriate to, now see, here's one okay, these are 80s. I'm looking at it wrong here, George. It would not be inappropriate to select enough to get this green to come all the way over. But because I'm a minimalist and I know that you don't have to get it all the way over for it to be effective, I just pick a number usually and go in and then select to that number.
So if you were doing, right now, you're doing 3 info boosts and a CERT info boost. If you were just doing a CERT info boost, you would probably pay a little more attention to getting that green line all the way over, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad strategy. I mean, it's built to allow you to do that and to show you the effect.
Right.
But you're right. If I had fewer things in the circuit, I would be more aggressive here. But I tend to select fewer things. That's just the way I do it. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. It just is the right way for me to do it. For me, if somebody says, no, I get a better effect if I pick more, then my answer to them is, well, then pick more, because that obviously is good for you. Okay, now I'm going to activate this info boost, this CERT info boost, and this will only be active for 24 hours.